In your youth ministry, what leaders connect best with students? Is it the leaders with more experience, who are a little bit older, who have a little bit of their spiritual walk behind them? Or is it the younger leaders, the one who are more in tune with the next generation and know the lingo and the slang and just graduated from high school or from college? In this episode, we're going to debate the two positions, and I have found someone on each side of the aisle to let us know their position and why they've chosen either older leaders or younger leaders. Welcome, everybody, to the Hybrid Ministry Show. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to the Hybrid Ministry Show. And today I'm sitting down with two new friends who I was just on a retreat with just a couple weeks back. And as I was debating who to take either of these positions, I thought they would do a great job. They're both really fun. We had a really good time together on our trip and on our retreat. And I knew that they would do a good job on this episode. So we have Tyler Johnson, who's taking the older leaders are better, and we have Jacob Hayes, who's taking that the younger leaders are better. But I don't want to spoil anything else on that. I'm going to let you guys get to hear them and their story. Quick little note, my dumb camera that I borrowed decided to focus in on my microphone bar, and so it left me mostly blurry, but that's okay. I have nothing to do with this episode. Tyler and Jacob, they're the stars of this episode. So without any further ado, let's hop into our debate and our conversation with Jacob and Tyler. Well, what's up, everybody? Here we are. I am with Jacob and Tyler. Gentlemen, how are we doing this morning?
Doing good.
Doing so good.
Have we both already had coffee, or is that after this is over?
I just finished my cup, so I'm all set.
I had tea because I'm a tea guy.
Hey, there you go. Who knew? The more you know. Comment down below your favorite brand of tea for Tyler. But we are going to let each of you have a moment. I don't want to get too far into this without you guys letting us know who you are. So, by random draw, that happened off camera, and you're just going to have to trust me because I'm a pastor and I get paid to tell the truth. Jacob, you get to go first and introduce yourself. 1 minute on the clock. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can do a lot of minutes.
All right, let's go.
All right. Yeah, my name is Jacob Hayes. I'm a student pastor for the chapel in Wisconsin. So I work with our three campuses in Wisconsin, and our main campus is in Whitewater, which is UW college town. So I get a lot of college students, and it's fun to work with them. And yeah, it's just been great.
See, 19 seconds. What a wreck. I don't think any youth pastor has ever come in that short on their time. But my friend,
there you go.
Impressive stuff right there. Tyler, the bar's been set, bro. All right. Are you ready, Tyler?
I'm so ready. Go. I will take more than 19 seconds because I read that in debate, it matters to take your full time. So my name is Tyler Two-Wall Johnson. The rest of that context doesn't need to be known because I don't think I can tell it in the remaining 40 seconds that I have. I am currently in Fort Wayne at Christ Hope Ministries and Church. I have only been here for about a year. I was at my previous church for about 8 years, and I have had a fair balance of both young and old volunteers in the ministries. And so as I come today ready to bear the fight and the voice of the older people, as there was another person in our retreat that the three of us had recently who strives to be an older person, I cannot wait. And so I am ready to defend the old today. Done.
Nice. Great work. Oh, wait. I got distracted. There we go. Whew. I almost didn't give you credit for that because I laid the remote down. So,
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let it be known that it was about 56 seconds.
Strong work, man. Both of you, strong work. All right. Well, now that we thoroughly know everything and we know the bare minimum of Jacob's life, let's get this show on the road. So once again, by random draw, Jacob, since you went first on the last one, that means Tyler, your position that you're getting 2 minutes to argue is that older people are better youth ministry volunteers. And you're about to have 2 minutes on the clock. Are you ready?
I will take 1 minute and 59 seconds. Yes, I am here to debate that for older volunteers. Here's number one. They bring long-term faithfulness and not just energy. They model a future version of faith. They're often more emotionally stable. I do say that as a once young person, kind of middle-aged. What is 30? Am I young middle-aged or am I old young? I don't know. That's for later. I'm in my debate time. Here's one of the probably the biggest that I have seen more personally outside of just reading from my notes, and it's this. Uh, there is more ownership with the maturity. Not just ownership of the ministry, but there's ownership of the tasks that they have. Not only do they see the ministry as their own, or maybe their small group as their own, and the ability to, without asking permission, or even sometimes without asking how, they're gonna go in and say, like, they're gonna grab the lunches, they're gonna grab the coffees. I don't have to hold their hand for some of that. At the same time, in ministry, if they are teaching a lesson, if they are preparing small group questions, it is theirs. They want to own it, and they might want feedback over some of that, but they're going to have ownership of it. In the same way, finally, there's a lot of ownership of their faith. As a young adult, even a young volunteer, I do believe someone is supposed to have a Paul and a Timothy at all times, even into their older years. But there's a lot of times that those 20 somethings, they are still looking very heavily toward their Paul. And so with the 40s, I would say arguably older ministry volunteers is probably 50 up. They have experienced that mentorship role and are more willing to be the Paul than needing to be the Timothy. Done.
Fantastic. Strong work.
There you go.
Jacob, the bar has been set, my friend. He brought in the Bible and everything, so it's now time for you.
Oh, shoot. I should have used the Bible.
It's now time for you to argue your side of the aisle, though you guys are friends. You once were friends. Will you still be friends after this, Jacob? 2 minutes on the clock. Take it away.
Go for it. Yeah, so I want to clarify before I offend anybody that's 35 or older that I'm 29, so 30 and above is still in the older mark for me. But I think there's something that younger volunteers provide that can't be replicated anywhere else, and that first thing mainly is just proximity to culture, life stage, proximity to what students are actually experiencing right now. You know, they remember what it was like to sit in the cafeteria, awkward, wondering about what they're going to do with their lives, not 25 years ago with a completely different generation, but just a couple years ago. I think the other thing that it provides is you get volunteers, students look to those younger volunteers and they see a hope, not just a hope that's like, oh man, 45, 50 years from now, this is where I can be. But there's a hope of, okay, faith can actually survive past high school. Like, faith can actually thrive in a college setting because I'm seeing college age young adult students or young adult leaders actually engaging and figuring it out. And they don't have all of the answers completely. But I also think that provides a comfortability of freedom to the students that go like, hey, it's okay if I'm not hitting college age and I have all of the answers, because they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do, and that's okay. It's a process, and they can kind of have hope in that, and then the younger leaders can speak into that a little bit for them and give them a sense of it's going to be okay. You've got time to process some of these things, and they can do that together. I think the other thing is that it builds a leadership pipeline. You know, for all the pros that Tyler's talking about, for the older volunteers, you don't get there without starting at some point. And so you got to start as a young leader, use the skills that you have at the time, and then work your way up to a place where you can be a Paul instead of just a Timothy. But also remember that Paul called Timothy when he was super young into a step of ministry. It wasn't that, hey, let's get you to a certain age, but it was right there in that moment. Done.
Great. So each person, each member of the defense, I don't know, this isn't court, has presented their side. Does anyone have a clarifying question for the other person to try and understand their side of the argument maybe a little bit better?
Yeah, I'll go. Clarify a little bit on the emotional stability of older volunteers. I'm not saying I disagree. I just want to hear like the specific strength that comes from as an older volunteer, because I think it's possible that younger volunteers can be in a place where they're emotionally stable. But like maybe I'm missing the angle that you're coming from.
Yeah, I think that older volunteers can react less dramatically to maybe sometimes it's student behavior
Yeah.
or something like that, as well as it. Even when there are storms in their personal life, I think you'll see someone who's older uh keep a more calm sense in them
Mhm.
more than when the storms of life are hitting a young person.
Yeah. That's good.
Tyler, you got one for Jacob?
I I'm gonna come up with
Yeah.
one, but I really liked Jacob's take.
Did he just
uh,
admit on here that I
no,
won? Are we,
no,
is that
no,
what
no,
we're...
no. I didn't admit guilty. I'm just saying it was a good point. Um,
Listen, this is a obviously very important thing that like you need to decide and figure out as a youth pastor. Like, where do you land on this debate, and who do you recruit, and how do you recruit, and all these things are very important. And also important, but maybe not as urgent feeling, is social media, which is why I've created the social media pack for busy youth pastors. Social media, you can just download any pack and you can post any done for you graphics on your feed, but that's not actually what performs well on social media, nor does it promote any sort of growth. And so I've created a good blend between done for you images and videos and custom coaching, hybrid ministry infused videos. The pack is only $17.99, and it will give you 3 months worth of social media content for you in your church. But it doesn't just, like I said, post a bunch of static graphics. You and your voice and your students' voice and your leaders' voices, they get to be highlighted. And so while you're over there debating this topic of who should I recruit and who's better connecting with my students and all these types of things, this social media pack will run in the background, and you can do it for less than 10 minutes worth of work per week and lean into a hybrid ministry strategy, which that strategy is what 2x'd our growth in our student ministry in just a 3-year period of time. So you can check that out. Or if you want to get the pack included, a part of the Patreon membership tier, which is only $4 a month instead of the $17.99 big, price tag that goes along with that. In addition to the social media pack, which is included in the membership tier, you'll also get a weekly bonus podcast, which details and outlines our programming and our creativity and what we're trying to do to reach students effectively in our context. And just by listening to that might give you ideas for how you can do it in your context. So for less than $50 a year, throw it on your professional development budget, whatever the case might be. I hope it's helpful for you, but that will help keep you going on social media so that you can focus on the things in your ministry that matter the most.
talk to me some about obviously with the older crowd. I took the stance of there's some high reliability. Talk to me about the lows of reliability in young people, and if that has been an experience that you've experienced.
I mean, 100%. Although I would also argue that I've worked with older volunteers who are sometimes just as unreliable as younger volunteers, and so it's a little bit of a balance. I think one of the things that I'll say, and I'll push a little bit on the younger volunteers compared to older volunteers, if I'm doing and I'm hoping that all of us are in agreement that this is a horrible idea, if I'm doing an overnight event, right? I'm getting the young guys who can pound 2 Red Bulls and eat Taco Bell and go run with the kids, then get the older volunteers to go, hey, I need you to go run around for a whole night and interact. And so there's a little bit of an energy there that they can provide, and I totally agree. I think there's the emotional stability thing is super important. I do agree. I think older volunteers are a lot more calm, especially in situations where like we need calmness and direction in terms of crisis, both in our lives and then also just in the craziness of Wednesday nights. We need a little bit of calm. But I think at some point you're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to learn that, the young leaders, unless they're in it first and see the older people do it. And so they have to experience that so that way they can also learn how to get there. But
I do. So what's really fun is talking about the overnight, right? Because
yeah.
we've all been there. Sometimes it's not about just the evening, it's about the recovery.
Yeah.
I've known some young people who pounded those 2 Red Bulls, and then afterwards, like the next day, they are a frail Victorian child on their couch.
True.
And some older people who are like, I got my coffee and I'm going to work today. And I'm like, you're insane.
Fair enough.
Well, and younger people have, like, sometimes their life lends itself better for recovery. They're like, I will be sleeping all day Saturday and it doesn't matter. And older people are like, I have a family and we have an upward basketball game that we have to be at 9 a.m. You know what I'm saying? And so
Absolutely.
there's definitely, like, there's some of the availability piece of maybe like a younger person, but there's maybe some of the wisdom piece of the older person. Which is probably why this is a terrible argument to have a either or stance on, right? Like, that's probably why it's helpful and beneficial to have a good blend of both, right? And so that doesn't make for a strong YouTube title, but it does make probably for good youth ministry to have a good blend of older volunteers and younger volunteers, because you can certainly see the pros of both sides. And let's be honest, you can also see the cons of both stances of the argument.
Yeah, and to be honest, I figured that was the point anyway, right? Is to have the balance, because even for the older people, the idea is not they are not just mentoring the students, they're mentoring the younger leaders. There's so much wrapped up. Jacob said it, there's a pipeline. You don't get to be the older volunteer without at one point probably being also the younger volunteer.
Yeah.
And realistically, as the younger volunteer, as I was a younger volunteer, there were volunteers that I looked up to that said, man, I want to do discipleship that way. I want to have their presence when my life looks like their life.
I was gonna say objection to the pipeline, because, like, what's the point of a pipeline? You don't actually want them past 30. So like, just burn them out, bro. And then
I'm sorry, Mr. Host. Are you taking a stance?
No, I was just
I don't feel good about this.
Sounds like I'm winning now.
I was just playing a counterpoint. All right.
Went first.
Since Tyler went first on the last one, by random draw that you'll have to trust. Yeah, Pastor. Jacob,
right.
1 minute on the clock to defend your younglings. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, take it
ready.
away.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, to close that out, I think it's also like you see the students that get to see the younger leaders engaged. That gives them a hopeful passion, and you can plug those guys in when they graduate into your middle school programming, right? And then that's where they can learn even more. And so it's not just you have these students from. It would be great. It would be a great world to live in if every single one of them came in sixth grade and stayed until senior year, right? But we know that some of them come in their senior year or junior year or anywhere in that spectrum, and you think, well, I only have a certain amount of time, right? Well, these younger leaders can pour into these people and help them figure out their gifts. So maybe it's being called into ministry, maybe it's being called into something else, or jumping into serving in student ministry to see where their spiritual gifts are, right? And those can happen at a young age rather than them going, well, I'll just figure it out when I'm 30 and go from there.
All right. Well done. Let's round it out, Mr. Tyler. Older people are better than younger people as youth ministry volunteers because...
the last point I want to make for older volunteers is the vision casting, as well as the decisions they make are generational. There are times that I think with younger people, they planned sometimes as little as like they're ready for next summer, they're ready for the next summer conference, they're ready for the next big event, when a lot of the decisions in ministry that is done from some of the older volunteers is they are thinking the long term. They are thinking about the students when they're getting to their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and how they can pour into them. They have that vision of the 5-year plan and not the 1-year plan. And I have found that incredibly valuable, especially when establishing a ministry, for even me to go to them and have those long-term vision casting conversations about the ministry. Done.
Well done. There you have it, folks. Old volunteers versus young volunteers. Let us know down below who won and whose side you're on. We should probably put like an old person emoji for one person and a child emoji.
And then put me.
Then you.
I just assumed that there was a filter you're going to do in post that like I'm 90 right now.
Oh, I'm good, but I might not be that good, brother.
Okay, I'm just like, I kind of wanted to see it. I wanted to see like the really grays. Like
I mean,
my grandfather had a very good head of hair even in his
Yeah.
90s. So like I'm hoping that sticks.
That sounds nice. That sounds really nice too.
Yeah.
way to rub salt in the wounds there, bro. All right, well, there you have it. Now let us know down in the comments which side of the debate you find yourself on. Are you team old? Drop the old people emoji. Or are you team young? Drop the baby emoji. Or are you a blend, as we kind of like landed on, where you need some of both? Drop the dude with the mustache emoji. And to be completely fair, I asked Tyler and Jacob if they would each take a side or a stance. But the bottom line is, like, you even heard it, like they both would lean to the other side of the aisle. And so I appreciate their willingness to jump in, take a side of the aisle, take a debate side for me. I hope you found this episode helpful and thought-provoking. If you did, very simply, a payment of a like or a subscribe or a share would really mean the world to us. But my friends, until next time, and as always, don't forget, stay hybrid.